I'll start. Okay, the first idea is basically a puzzle horror game based on Hansel and Gretel. It's a more sort of adult version of the story in that the original one is nothing really bad happens. With this one, basically the story will diverge slightly. Rather than having a Gretel kill the witch, they'll just run and the witch will then chase them through the forest as they try and get home. There'll be traps and enemies along the way and so on they'll have to avoid. The main sort of difference is that essentially most horror games focus rather on the puzzle elements are weak. This will basically be predominantly a puzzle game with horror elements rather than the other way around. The puzzle will follow a fairly sort of linear fashion with different areas. So for example, the first area will be a forest, then it will move on to ruins, then on to a house castle area, and then into a more industrial area afterwards before they finally escape. Each area will have its own, the puzzle elements in each area will be unique to that specific area, and at the end there'll be sort of like a boss fight kind of thing, aiming to use everything that they've learned up to that point. Basically, each Hansel and Gretel will each have their own skills. So, for example, Hansel will be able to do something like be physically stronger, to carry heavy objects, whatever. Whereas Gretel will be more agile, fast, able to jump higher, etc. Each character will have to use their own sort of skills in solving the puzzle, adding sort of more of a co-op focus to it. That's basically it.
Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. Next.
This is for the four Careful Brothers. It's sort of a side-scroller beat-em-up, done in a sort of cartoony manner, because the four brothers each have their own unique skill which will fit their combat style, and they have unique abilities based around that. And the enemies will have, there'll be a basic enemy and four different enemies that each player has, is the only one that can take out, so you have to work together and sort of get a tactic. There'll be puzzles as well, which you have to work together as a group, otherwise you're going to find it very hard or impossible. It's based on the story of the four Careful Brothers, but it starts off at the point where they go to rescue the princess and not the backstory of how they get their skills in the first place. They presume that you already know how to do it. That's about it, really.
So it's a multiplayer game?
Yeah, co-op or with the,
Do you know how to code that?
Yes,
you do?
It would be the Lego, sort of, if you don't have enough players, you can switch between them.
That's how I was about to ask. Okay, any other questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, next.
Okay, the third idea is called Shadow of a Man. It's based on Anderson's The Shadow. The story basically is a man travels to a really hot land where it's so hot people can't go outside. It's so scorching that they have to stay mainly indoors. And across the street, he hears this music that he's really liking, probably Metallica based or something like that. And he realizes his shadow can be seen on the building, so he tries to manipulate his shadow in a jokey fashion to access this music, where he notices his shadow vanishes. The story doesn't explain it well. It's like a magical loophole, and the shadow leaves for many years. Eventually the shadow returns to the man and explains he's living a wonderful life. He's almost a real man. And at this point the man's becoming sick, and the shadow offers to take him on his journeys to get him out of the hot area. So basically it's a switch around where the shadow is leading the man along as if the man was his shadow, and eventually tries to belittle the man and make him become a permanent follower of himself, so he can live a full life as a real man because he's happy. The man isn't happy with this, and the shadow basically tries to get him thrown into prison. So the game is a side-scrolling adventure platform, it will be in UDK. So it's a unique story retold through an interesting
10
platform.
seconds.
Shit. There's daylight mechanics, a lot of platforming, multi-routes. There'll be a boss fight at the end with like a shadow showdown using a light mechanic. Brilliant.
Okay, any questions on that?
What was it based on? That's very terrible.
The Shadow.
It's The Shadow.
Okay.
Did you see wink at me then? I'm a bad lady, I know. No winking.
Any other questions? No? Are we good? Okay, thank you very much.